My friend's mother ruined his wedding. Now she's demanding that we pay for it.
Hey, pay up.
I caught up with a good friend recently, and we reminisced about his ridiculous mother of the groom's situation at the wedding we both went to a number of years ago. Thought it might be worth telling it here. By the way, this comes from Chris Tubel Gold on the r/OKstorytime subreddit. So about 7 years ago, I, 23 female at the time, had just completed my master's degree and was working in my first real job.
Hey, we love real jobs.
Our master's was a fairly small program, and we were a pretty close group. Most of us continued to be close friends once we were working. One of my friends, 30 male, had done the program after a career change, so he was a bit older than most of us. He was engaged at the time of our studies, but he was in a long-distance relationship with his fiancée, 28 female, who was working in Europe. We were in Australia. We finally met her towards the end of the program when she joined him in Australia. We all got along well, and towards the end of our studies, they all gave us a save the date for their wedding the following year. So about a year's notice, which would be in Malaysia. As she was from Europe and he was from Australia, they decided to get married in Asia as it would be cheaper, and given so many people would have to travel anyways, they can make a vacation out of it. All right.
Making the best out of the situation.
For a lot of us in our early 20s, this was probably one of the first weddings we went to, and we were all excited to make a trip out of it. We were, of course, broke uni students, so a friend of mine said he didn't want to pressure us to take our leave and spend our money if we couldn't make it work, but we were all keen to it. As the wedding neared, we had all booked the cheapest flights that stopped at a million other cities and budgeted hotels. The groom contacted everyone who was coming, not a big wedding, to say a thank you, as they would be paying for the hotel for the wedding night for everyone and organizing transportation to and from the venue, as it was in a location that was a bit remote.
Oh, that's a
Very
real
thoughtful.
That's a real W out of the it was the bride and groom, right? That were doing that
Out of the groom's pocket.
That's a real W for the groom.
We all thought this was lovely and thanked him. He and his fiancée also made it clear that they would not want gifts. They wanted a big celebration with all of their family and friends, because soon they would be relocating overseas and it would be the last chance to have everyone together.
Hey, last chance. Got to take advantage of it.
Most of us arrived to the location of the wedding about 2 days before. That night, we were all having dinner by the beach when the groom introduced us to his mother. We had never met her before, but the groom had insinuated now and then that his fiancée didn't get along that well with his mother.
Oh, no.
I didn't think too much of it. She seemed nice, but a fairly loud personality. But whatever, nothing too annoying. We were all taking photos at dinner, and she made a few Karen-like comments about us. Young people, always with our cameras, etc. But we mostly smiled and brushed it off. The wedding day was a very different story. The wedding was very relaxed, beach wedding in the afternoon, followed by a reception with local seafood with tables on the beach. The bride wore a beautiful beachy white dress and no shoes, and the groom wore chinos and a white linen shirt. So very relaxed, not formal at all.
But honestly, that sounds like the best way to do a beach wedding.
Oh, yeah.
They're
dude.
crushing the beach wedding.
It's just a vibe.
Yeah.
Mother of the groom turns up wearing a full Chinese kepi style dress in a very pale pink, almost white, holding a matching fan and wearing a headdress. Please note, this woman is as Caucasian as they come. She looked absolutely ridiculous. She proceeded to walk up to her son before the ceremony started and have people take a million photos of her in her Chinese imperial dress with him, as of the occasion was all about her and him.
That's...
Hey, yo.
I mean, it's not... That's weird.
Eventually, someone had to escort her to sit down as they wanted to start the ceremony, and the bride was about to walk in. It was all so awkward. It was a fun night, but throughout the night, his mother would constantly try to take the limelight. They weren't having speeches, but she did an impromptu speech and spoke only about how much of a wonderful baby, boy, and adult he is, and how his fiancée was so lucky to meet him. We were all horrified that this was even his mother, as he is such a relaxed, down-to-earth guy. Can definitely understand, though, why his fiance preferred to stay in Europe for so long. The following day, we all had a few farewell breakfasts at the hotel before everyone headed on their way, either home or to other destinations. There were a few sore heads from what had been a great night drinking and dancing on the beach.
The lively festivities.
The groom's mother proceeded to walk around with an envelope and casually places it on our table. She proceeds to tell us that this wedding has cost the bride and groom a lot of money and that we should offer to pay for the hotel room they booked for us and to help pay for the wedding. She left the envelope with us and said she would be back to collect it. And we want to collect you every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube.
That's right.
When we go live.
Just press our profile.
What the heck? Dude, I think she's just trying to get a little bit of money. She knows that they already paid for it. She's like, hey, just pay this and I'll give it to them, blah, 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 blah.
Well, why is she trying to get money out of like all these broke college students? Like, what's the point of that? Like, you already know that they don't have a lot of money to spare.
They were able to get a flight and they got their master's degree. They got money. What are you talking about?
Not yet.
No, they got their money.
You got to use the master's degree to get the money later. They literally said at the beginning that they're like, we are relatively broke university students. Like, this is cool for us.
Yeah. We were so uncomfortable. The truth was, we would have been more than happy to pay for our own way. But we had now budgeted around this part of being paid for. And we also knowing our friend, knew he would be horrified to know his mother was doing this. We scraped together the cash we had on us, which honestly wasn't a whole lot, and put it in the envelope. She collected it and barely said thanks. It was all about 20 minutes before we had to leave. To this day, I actually don't know if she even gave them the money. She was such an intense character. I think she just wanted control.
Yeah,
what the heck?
That sounds accurate to me. It's like, It's not helicopter parenting, but it's like,
I need my way or the highway.
You don't like he just got married and it's like, that's a huge, I guess, step in like, becoming an adult or a fully like independent, I guess, person from your like the family you grew up with. And so she's like, well, I'm always going to be the one who's actually in charge. So I'm going to make everyone give us money. But it's really just me that's getting the money.
Yeah, what the heck, dude? That's so weird.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Sometimes parents just do whack stuff,
I bet she kept the money. Had to.
She probably did. She needed it after she bought that Chinese dress.
She needed her funding, but that's the end of that story.
That is the end of that story.